right, guys. Oh my gosh, today was very hard. I will go over my trades. I had one big loser. It was, well, I had big losers this morning. I just happened to pull myself out of it at Power Hour. But I did have one of my first losing trades on earnings. And you know how I usually do really well at earnings. I was kind of desperate because I had just a crappy morning. You guys, there's no volume in the market today. Well, in the last week or 2 weeks, whatever, it's summer trading. So NVIDIA was moving just pennies and Tesla pennies. It was so hard to trade. Once you factor in the spread, you're just sitting there. It's like watching paint dry. So I came back. I was down a lot, $109 on NVIDIA. So I came back at Power Hour and I said, Sue, shit or get off the pot. You got to pull yourself out of this. If there's only going to be a couple pennies, up the share size. Now, I was careful. I was watching price action and I was, acting accordingly. So that totally helped me. I mean, I only ended the day with $100. I took a loser on my very first earnings, and that was Levi's. It was about $38. And I went 50 shares because it's cheap stock. So we'll go over that real quick. And the rest, I ended up pulling out and being positive. I ended up having to go 200 shares on Tesla and 400 shares on NVIDIA just to pull out at Power Hour. And it was just a few quick scalps and I was done. Okay, you guys, I want to address something else that a question I had in the comments. Really good question. In all the Discord groups I've been in these last 4 years, in other people's YouTube videos, I see this comment. It's a common question and I got it yesterday. It's how much do you think is a good amount to start when you start day trading? Everyone wants to know that. I wanted to know that. You just wonder, you see on YouTube all these influencers that are making, $800,000 a month and driving Lamborghinis. And you just think, how do I do that? Well, you can't do that if you have a $500 account. You're just not going to be able to turn your money fast enough. It's like a business that owns inventory. There was a time when I had $1 million of inventory sitting on my shelves. Well, my business sold a lot of inventory because I had the capital to have that inventory. Well, a brand new business just starting out isn't going to have $1 million in inventory on their shelves. So their sales aren't going to be the same as mine were. So bear that in mind. Don't compare yourself to anyone out there. All right, I'm looking down at my notes here. So what you need to start, the very short answer is 0. You should not be starting with any money. You should be starting, the word is starting, that's the clue there. If you're just starting out, start in a sim. There's no stress. And you're practicing. Now, I did not start in a sim. I did on futures, and I still trade a lot of the sim in futures. But in ThinkOrSwim, you can't use custom indicators in their sim account. And so I didn't want to learn how to use ThinkOrSwim, how to trade without using my indicators, and then have to change and go when I went live and download all the indicators, learn how to use them, and then trade. So I started with one share of large caps, 10 shares of small caps. And mind you, I have 6 brokerage accounts that are very healthy. This was money that I could lose. I put money in there that I could lose. I put just enough to get through the PDT rule back then. It was 25,000. Plus I had some stock in the account. I did not use margin at first. I did not have a margin account, and I did not take a margin account. I did not switch it to margin until I was very profitable. And when I knew I had risk management, when I knew I would never abuse it, and I never did abuse it. And I still use it to this day, and I don't abuse it. Okay, then the point where you're going to transition from, let's say you start out with $500, you go to $500, and then you go to about $2,000. That's going to get you your PDT rule right now. But don't worry about all that. You gotta work your way up. So I just can't stress that enough. Looking down at my notes are lengthy. I spent a lot of time on this, so please read it. It talks about the 1% rule of your capital, all that. I've moved on from all this, but this was part of my plan. When I started day trading, I made a business plan, and this was part of my business plan. So take it, use it, write in the comments what you think is wrong, what you did better, what you didn't do better, what you wish you would have done. There's a lot of people that ask this, and they will come to the comments to see what other people are doing. It just really helps people. Okay, let me go show you what I did on that horrible Levi, that Levi trade. I got out quick, so that was good. Low risk management. All right, and then I've made notes on the charts to show you where I got hung up. And I want to show you where you can see that consolidation when the 9 and the 21 EMA just merge and they almost come together, and there's no movement in the candle, and it just keeps going across. And I was the idiot that kept trying to trade it. It wasn't moving. It was idiotic. Okay, let's go check it out. All right, you guys, NVIDIA was tough today. I mean, it's been tough lately anyways. I'm going to try to get these volume bars, this scalping indicator higher so you can see, because I do really use the scalping indicator. I can't trade without it. So I do need it like nice and big so I can see it. This gray line is your average line. So then it shows me when volume is above average, which of course the open, it's booming, and then below average. And then you guys, you know how I've promised I'm not going to trade the first 15 minutes. Look at this. It's my perfect setup. It goes straight up, pulls back to the 9, not even a deep pullback, just almost like a consolidation pullback. Taps the 9, goes up, comes back, taps the 9 again, goes up. And I was sitting here counting the bars going, oh God, come on, get to 15. And as soon as we got to 15, I said, that's it, I'm getting in. Now, I did get in a little high because I waited a full minute. I should have got in right here, but I didn't want to break my rule. That was 9:44. So anyways, this shot up so fast I couldn't get in. I did chase it a little bit right here. I got in and then got out, but that was not my issue. I got out right away. My issue was right in here. Look at this. I made notes. And here I was trying to, I think right here, I was watching my volume bars here and I was just trying to either short when I saw the sellers were coming up, or I was trying to go long when buyers were coming up. The problem is when you get this much chop and you're right at all these EMAs and this is VWAP, these are the EMAs. Ignore that yellow one, I'm just testing it right now. Okay, when you get all this going sideways, perfectly sideways, it ain't moving anywhere. So I'm really glad actually that I had this 21 EMA because this is an SMA, 20 SMA, and that's just not doing me any good. I need to get rid of that. I've been watching it for a couple of days and I don't like it. I like the EMAs. All right, going sideways, you're trying to get like 10 cents, but your spread is 3 cents, which is 6 cents round trip. So you need 16 cents. And it's just going up, down, up, down, up, down in that 1 minute. It's driving you crazy. And just sideways, there's not enough movement. I really like it when candles are good, like 25 cents and moving in a direction. They could not figure it out. They were buying it, buying it, then selling it. It was just crazy, not good. So I was down $110 right up at this point right here. And I saw this, that I was just struggling. And I said, forget it. You can't trade this. Just come back later. So I did end up coming back later. And let's see here, right here. Now this was way better. I'm going to show you, I upped my share size. I was doing 150, 200 right in here. And then here I bumped it up and I was pretty much doing 200, 300. I just had to because I needed to pull out of that loss. Now I was very cautious. So I can't remember if I was up or down here. I probably was down a little bit here, probably added to it. And then right here, I just started getting serious. And it was 200 shares pretty much the whole time and 300. And I just traded this right here, going up, coming back to the 9, taking it up, coming back to the 9. And then I stopped right here. So that was it. $19.30. Now, I don't want to get in the habit of forcing myself to do higher share size if I don't have to. I would rather do higher share size when it's moving, not when it's struggling, because I could go way deeper in my red. So I do need to be careful of that. All right, INTC. Normally I can trade INTC pretty good. I struggled a little bit on this one. I was taking just really fast scalps, 100 shares at a time. And I'm going to show you what happened over here. There was a floor forming right here. Let me see if I can get this. This is very lagging today. All right, let me get these up so you can see. I love these volume bars. I do use them. I need to. I can't live without them. Okay, so here I did 200 shares and 400 shares just to get something out of it because I could see there was just no movement and there was low volume. Then I did do well right here. It comes down, I shorted it right here. And then I wrote caution floor forming. There's a floor forming right here. It's going from here to here and back down, and it keeps hitting the 9, but it doesn't go any farther than this, like 107.50. So I got in right here. I bought in and sold out, or I actually probably sold out right here. I did not have any losing trades on this. It was just pennies is all. That's why there's not much money there. I think I might have had one of these scalps was a loser. So I got real cautious here. I played it right here. And this, you guys, when it's consolidating like this, it's either going to shoot up like it did here. And if it does, it's big. And a lot of times when you get that big candle after consolidation, it drops big. So I was aware of that. I'm just getting kind of used to the way these 6 tickers that I trade every day trade, which does help in a market like this. All right. And then right here, I wrote, oh God, that's hard to see. Okay. I wrote right here, I was actually short right here and I was up $50. And then I hit sell market and it ran up. So this was going down. I caught it when it was red. There was only sellers in this candle. So it was a perfect move. It came up in the 9, into the 9, and then it started coming down. So I got in and I was up $50 and I hit sell and it took 3 to 4 seconds for me to fill. I was so pissed. And I did market order. So I started doing more limit orders here over in this area, and that actually helped. So there are going to be times where I have to use limit and sometimes where I have to use market. And I got to make sure I test that right away to see, because right now in this summer trading, it's just hard to tell. So this all came down. I shorted this down and I didn't have a problem here. I was just taking barely pennies. Look right here, 106.64 to 0.61. I was just taking pennies. It was just slow moving. I mean, if I scrunch this down, there's just not a lot of movement. And it would come up here and meander right here, consolidate. All right, Tesla. Tesla, this was, I believe, in the afternoon. Yeah, this was afternoon. I needed to make up for that loss on NVIDIA. At this point, I still needed to make up for it. So I did, I got in right here at 200 shares and I did a perfect scalp. I did make money on this. But right when I was in it, I heard Benzinga Squawk or whatever, Benzinga Pro Charlie say, Fed meeting is just came out, or Fed meeting, whatever, something about Fed meeting. And so I wrote, get out. I had 200 shares. I normally do 25 to 50. No way in hell I should have been in high share size, more higher than I normally do when there's a Fed meeting just happening right then. See that candle? It's the 2 o'clock candle. And it could have just dumped. So then I got back in over here and I did, 100 to 200 shares right in here. And that was it, 1650. It wasn't a lot, but it was just pennies. And it wasn't trading well. I mean, look at this. It's just kind of going sideways. It really is sideways. All right, Meta. I'd pretty much given up and I was going to be done. And I was waiting for Levi earnings. And then I heard Squawk say, Benzinga Squawk say, Meta had something about Meta and the market's reacting badly. Well, I didn't hear what it was, something about a book. So I thought, oh, damn, I'm just running over there. Well, you guys, I trade Meta rarely because the spread is usually really high. I mean, this is after hour spread. The spread actually wasn't that bad. So I decided to jump in with 100 shares right here. I made just a little bit here. And then I said, screw it. It came up because Charlie, I call him Charlie, but on Squawk, he said, ignore that. That was old news. So I got out right here. I got in and out and I waited. And then he said, no, it was news. So I said, oh, shoot, I'm back in. So I just was trading the news. We were kind of close to this EMA, but I just decided to go higher share size and just get what I could. And it was 53.85 and I was done. All right, Levi's. This is one of my first, it's rare that I have earnings that are, that I lose money on. I'm really good at just analyzing companies on earnings. I've owned a business for 30 years. I thrive on my metrics in my business. I thrive on my metrics in my trading. I'm very anal about keeping track of everything. I think it's important if you run a business, and I treat trading like a business. So I decided to go into Levi's. I knew this was going to be probably a 50-50 shot. Lately, I've had to shop at Target to get just paper goods, paper towels and cleaning supplies. And I've been noticing that Levi's has a big section in their store. So I thought, well, maybe that's going to have them do really good at earnings. And I think it was the last 1 or 2 they had really good earnings. So I thought, I'm just going to go for it. I have nothing to lose. I'm at least going to be green on the day. So I took 50 shares. Let's see, I got in back here, right here. We did this little push up and I thought, ooh, maybe people are getting excited. I've never traded Levi's at earnings, so I didn't know it might start running. So I just decided to get in 50 shares. I really didn't have anything to lose. And then right here, we got bad earnings and I immediately got out, you guys. I got out at 23.58 and it was about right here. I mean, it happened fast and I just heard and hit sell and got out. And then it started coming back. It came back really big right here. I probably didn't have to get out and I probably could have doubled down right in here and made it back. But I just don't like messing with earnings. It's too risky, you guys. You got to have risk management. I'd rather take a $38 loss than be wrong, double down, and just have it dump down. All right, guys. Let me know how you did today. I'd really like to know. And let me know how you're doing with summer trading. I'm really struggling with that. All right. Hopefully tomorrow will be better. All right. Bye.